Stage 1 and Stage 2 engine chill has started. Engine hydraulics at pressure. And Stage 1 fuel is closed out. Falcon 9 is in self-align. Falcon 9 heaters closed out.
Dragon has transitioned to configure for terminal count.
Vehicle tanks pressing for strong back retract.
Strong back retract has started.
Stage 2 RP1 bleed. Stage 1 RP1 bleed. AFTS final setup started. MBAG igniter purges. Pogo bleed.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal count and is on internal power.
Stage 1 LOX load closed out. Vehicle is transitioning to internal power. Stage 2 LOX load is closed out. Propellant fills are complete.
Dragon is in auto idle.
Ground gas closeout is starting.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Dragon is in countdown.
FTS is armed for launch.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Stage 1 tanks pressing for flight.
Top 79, Yankee Bridge.
Yankee 2579, do silver ground tank, 6 kilo.
2377 on the kilo going somewhere around 597.
77, do silver ground tank, via Lima, kilo 5, and hold short of kilo 7.
All right, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Mickey here. It is about 11 a.m. Central Time coming to you from the great state of Texas. It is October 24th, 2022. And without further ado, let's hop on over here to the board. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe and bell for notification. We get into the day. Now, we're kicking it off in Skyglass as always. Just a couple quick elements, and then we'll get into the main screen. Wanted to point out that currently have active, this is 747-200. Hot Rod 88, that's going to be your Doomsday plane is up. And then the other one I thought was interesting is just the repositioning of Air Force One. Looks to be headed right there into, from what I can tell, North Carolina. But Flashbang is not moving today. So this is just an empty move, it looks like, but just a data point. Again, just pay attention to them, right? All right, so let me do this. I'm going to take that away for a second. And then we're just going to look at the total count, and then we'll get into our actual aircraft. So let me let that marinate for a second. And while I'm doing that, by the way, do not forget, if you don't have the app yet, please go out there and get it. I went to a lot of effort to actually get this created so that you had everything you needed from me at your fingertips. And it's free 90 free. So you can just go into the App Store, download it for iOS and or Android. And you'll get push notifications, and just about anything that I do is actually going to be pushed through that. So, all right, now back over here. It looks like it's done marinating. So, it's always fun just to kind of keep it rhythm going, isn't it? So, nonetheless, let's see. It's at about 265 actually up right now. Loaded 447. It is a little bit of a busy day, but we do have a lot of weather moving through the center of the United States right now and up the East Coast. So that's going to kind of skew our numbers just a tad. So, okay, let's get into our watch list and take a look at what we've got happening right now. Got a couple of the Phoenix Air. Those are going to be your Graybirds off to the left of the screen. And then we do have a national security energy for nuclear security up again today. And that looks like one of the balloons just down low. It's not showing a spike up high. Let's see, there's that Doomsday bird up, as well as the other one we just looked at. And down south over South Florida, we still have that Homeland Security one. But again, there's Air Force One headed to North Carolina. So Don't know why, but again, it's just pre-positioning assets there. Okay, now we get over to Europe, see what we've got up. Now, I am going to point out something. Notice that these European are C-135s. They don't show activity-wise on my R-135 for the 3-day run, and so that means they are squawking or doing something a little different. It's a different type of aircraft, basically. So, but yeah, running right along that Ukrainian border as always. There's that C-135. That's actually a French bird. And I show it with a refueling boom on it, which, I don't know, maybe they multitask. Who knows? But yeah, this is, and then of course we got that little P3 sub-hunter coming down over Greece in that general area. And kind of quiet from that standpoint. Now let's get into the heavy lifts. You can see very East Coast centric at the moment. Again, 24-hour traces. So this is happening since yesterday to this morning. But do notice we have a bunch of them headed westbound. Don't know where they're going. Just know they're headed west, coming out of the eastern seaboard of the United States. And then let's get over here to Europe. It is a little more busy than the U.S. You can see some of those spikes. Don't pay any attention to those. Just bad data feed. But I guess stuff going on in Portugal, stuff in Italy, a lot of movement in the UK, stuff moving up there near Latvia, Lithuania, that general area. And then we get down. The Middle East is starting to pick up with activity. Notice we got a lot of flights going in and out of Cairo, a lot of stuff going out of Jordan. And of course, we got activity happening in Syria. So, and that little move right there, it's over into Georgia. That could be actually putting some troops in play because Iran is actually doing some stuff in Azerbaijan. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one, okay? All right. Now let's talk refuelers for a second. Not a lot of refuelers up this morning, but we do have this one down kind of south of Morocco doing some work. That was actually a British air refueler. Then we've got this one over Poland running some routes. That is probably because we got a lot of boots on the ground in Poland, folks. A lot. All right. And then this one off the coastline of Israel. Yep. So it means we got fighters up in that general area near Cyprus, between Cyprus and Israel. And again, like I said, Syria has been at places heating up like a junkie spoon. So, but I don't show anything over that. So let's get back to our main board and let's start getting through the data now. We have been tracking sub-hunters, R-135s, et cetera. We'll continue to do that just because I think it starts to paint the picture of where they're worried or concerned of activity going on or where they're looking for potential subs. Okay, so we'll start with the R-135. Had about 12 flights up over the last 3 days. But notice this one is actually running around up over kind of the UP there of Michigan, which is, don't see that. That's the first time I've actually seen it. So it's kind of an interesting data point for us. But yeah, that's over the U.S. Now, down south, we get over to Europe. And again, these are different from the ones I just showed you on my watch list, although they're compiled, should be compiled together. So that just tells you it's a different type of R-135 that's up. Notice it's running along that Syria border. That's eastern Syria is where we're having a lot of the issues. And then again, right there where that refueler activity is, kind of over that Cyprus, between Cyprus and Israel. So, okay, interesting. And then into the sub-hunters, very light for sub-hunters. Again, I think there was 12 over 3 days. I noticed some work off of the West Coast. Notice there's one, it looks like it has been moved across the drink from an asset perspective, repositioning. There's that work over Greece, right? So we're kind of seeing a little more consistency of some activity there headed kind of on the northern side of the Mediterranean Sea. And so that's going to be your sub-hunters. And then the last one we're going to look at is actually going to be this. Let's take a look at the TACAMOs, because TACAMO, take charge, move out. These are going to be your Navy talking, their airborne command centers talking to your ICBMs off the coast of San Francisco. And then up here off the East Coast, kind of running the whole gamut up and down from Florida all the way up to basically the top of the Northeast. And then civilian spy stuff. We only had a couple of flights on that one, but just notice they're beating down a path here. Again, this is probably Brio 68s coming out of Constanta, and it's just running that route just to the left of Moldova because there's probably a lot of military activity going on right there right now from a Russian perspective. Okay. Okay. Let's get on into it and see what we've got going on. Now we've got, if we hump over here, pay attention to this, not this up here. This is nonsense. But we've got a DOJ official coming to discuss significant national security cases at a press conference this afternoon. I think that's at like 1 o'clock or something. So have eyes on this because something tells me they're getting ready to do the drop on somebody. Okay, this is a major chess move, I believe. It says Monday, this conference is going to be held on Monday. It's today to discuss significant national security cases addressing malign influence schemes and alleged activity by a nation-state actor inside the United States. Who do you think they're going after? If I had to guess, they're trying to pin something here on Trump. Again, a little more of it. U.S. to announce criminal cases against a nation-state. So that's somebody here inside the United States and that they believe is working with somebody foreign. Again, I think this may be a setup for Trump. I'm just saying that out front, just because of the chatter that we're hearing, et cetera. Now, if I get over here and I look at the DOJ on the move, they landed 1 hour, 55 minutes ago. This is that little go team, but they just went from D.C. down to Savannah. Pay attention because I think we got to watch for that next move. I don't think it's headed north. I think it's headed south, but call me crazy. And then we're going to also go ahead and just notify everybody, start watching Guantanamo Bay because you're going to, if they are up to something, you will see something pop in on the board, pop off of the board. It'll probably be very quick and it'll probably get wiped as soon as it goes down. But notice we still have activity coming in from Joint Base Andrews. The only thing on the docket is for this week, and it's been on the docket, but it doesn't really justify the amount of traffic we've had from D.C. coming down to Guantanamo Bay in the last, say, 30 days. It's been quite active, more than I've ever seen, okay? So that tells me they got either a big case going on that we don't see or know about, or they're getting ready to put a big case on, and we'll see what happens. Now, I would imagine if it is indeed Trump that they go after and he gets put into this location, then you'll probably hear a lot about it because this won't be a hush-hush deal. They'll make this go viral 100% because they're trying to damage his ability to run in 2024, okay? But my guess, too, is they want to get this done before the midterm election, all right? So, again, like I said, it's that's just the chatter. I don't have anything to back it up other than watching some strange activity go on, okay? Okay, now let's get over to this side of it. This is actually going to be Flashbang's schedule. He's headed over to the DNC today. Wonder what that could be all about. And then he's got some stuff going on with Diwali. That's going to be the Indian New Year replanting ceremony. So let's take a look at old Flashbang here. This isn't word salad. This is just him being him. You're going to notice I think he freaked everybody out in this. He was down there talking about hurricane stuff, and he just left the podium, and everybody's like, where's the dude going? I don't know. We're not done talking, sir. This guy. Is it time for my mush? I don't even know what to say. This guy, I mean, just what a... You could see, like, where's he going? I don't know where he's going. I can imagine the chatter in the comms and everybody's ear right there. It would have been hilarious. So... okay, so let's get away from Flashbang's schedule. Let's kind of get into the meat of what we've got going on here. Now, I will tell you, I started looking at the data this morning. It's one of the reasons I was running just a skosh late getting started with the SITREP because I wanted to start to kind of put together a big picture of where the flights are coming inbound to Biggs Army Airfield and where they went. When we're looking at the smaller aircraft, these are 737 size, running, you hold roughly 200 plus people on it, right? 218, depending on the seating configuration. But let's just go 200 just to be on the safe side, okay? Now, notice the yellows are where all of the flights came inbound to Biggs Army Airfield, okay? Now, we had a couple that overlapped here. That's why you got the red star at Houston where they kind of were in and out of Houston and then processed from there as well. But, excuse me, most of these inbound or all the yellows inbound to Biggs, okay, processed, Notice they are from all over the United States, right? All over the U.S. That's what makes me think this is not, these are not immigrants getting moved. Now, the Alexandria one could very well be immigrant related, but for the most part, I think these are troops that came in here. They all have different skill sets spread out across the U.S. They bring them in, they put them into these little hot pocket groups, right? Everybody's got kind of like these little QRF, quick reaction force skill sets. You know, you may have a litany of different folks with different sets built into this. Think of it like a kit, right? Okay. And then they all get on flights and they get deployed to these locations. Now, I will tell you, Los Angeles had probably 600, maybe a little bit more that went to Los Angeles. Ontario had, I think, 400. San Diego was 200. You get in here to Topeka, Kansas, that was 200. Wheeler, Sac, that's kind of another one of those locations where we've had stuff going, a lot of traffic actually from here to Minneapolis. All right. But just like I said, 200 here, 400 or 200 here, a lot to the West Coast. Now, I peeled the onion a little bit further because I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, what is the makeup of the governors of these states, right? How do these guys look? So if we go look at the state governors and just kind of get a general feel for it, you're going to notice a lot of them, most of them are actually Democrats, right? Except for this guy, Ohio, he looks to be a Republican. Nate Brown, bleh. Oregon, right? Flaming Democrat. We get over to the next one. You've got Tennessee, Republican, Greg Abbott, Republican. But most of these, if you kind of bleed through, there's a Republican. So from the border states, they seem to be Republican with the exception of this guy who's a WEF, World Economic Forum graduate. You got him, Democratic Party. You've got Laura Kelly, Democratic Party. That's headed to Kansas. Louisiana, Democrat. Minnesota, Democrat. North Carolina, Democrat. Let's see, New York, Democrat, right? So you see the trend. Most of these folks that I see over here on the purple board are going to be Democrats, right? Most of these states that we've got them going to. So I'm just putting it together. Like I said, it's just basically scuttle the data. Let's see what sticks. Figure out if any of it makes sense. What we see going on. Is there a trend? Is there something that we need to be looking at that we're not looking at? And that's basically why I do that, right? What does the data show us? And we'll continue to monitor it. Now, that little surge that went out has not, they haven't come back. And two, I haven't seen it since, right? So it was like this surge came in and then boom, they all went to these major states in pretty good numbers. Like I said, Southern California is, you're talking 600 just in LA. All right. And so if we look at the immigration flights, it's all south of the border stuff, mostly border cities like Valley, etc. But it doesn't really align with the flows that we see or that we just looked at. Okay, that's why I steer kind of leaning towards this is troops, not immigrants. Okay. Okay. Over to NASA. We'll just take a quick gander at what's going on from a space airborne science program. Got this one, looks to be headed westbound. We'll watch that, see what happens in N95 in A. And we got this one moving up north here. That is a dynamic aviation. Now, I have learned something interesting about the dynamic aviation aircraft. We're going to talk a little bit more about that right now. Okay, so you can see we back up. I don't have anything really showing on the NOAA board. But this is a NOAA flight, and what I found out, and I've got a whole bunch of data that came in on it, showing this. And I had a lot of people concerned because they saw these aircraft flying. There was 3 of them. N70U is actually one of 3, and they were running these really low altitude routes, as you can see down. I mean, really in the weeds, back and forth. And what it turns out is these aircraft have the ability to spray. And that's what they're doing. They're spraying for mosquitoes. So I would imagine if you could spray, now see the nozzles right here on the outer thing. So if you can spray for mosquitoes, you can definitely do cloud seeding. And so this is one of the capabilities. I didn't know NOAA did mosquito control. But they've got 3 aircraft down over Florida because of the amount of rain and a sea of mosquitoes. So at nighttime, they're out flying, super low altitude, doing this mosquito spraying. So that's exactly what you're looking at here. And like I said, I can tell you, growing up in Florida, I can remember the mosquito trucks coming around at night because they don't do this during the day. And we'd be out, playing, I don't know, hide and seek or something, right, out in the streets. And these guys would come through. I can remember tasting this stuff blowing off the back of the trucks. I'm sure it's a miracle I'm still alive because the DEET level in that had to be, astronomically high. But nonetheless, man, that used to happen all the time. You'd see the yellow light flashing and they'd come through and we'd be out there running around in that fog, wondering why you never had mosquito bites. But nonetheless, pretty crazy. But yeah, that's what it looks like is going on. Okay. All right, let's break away from that. Let's get over to Bitdefender, see what we've got happening. This is, again, week number 5, headed into 6. Very heavy flow of attacks here in the United States. Looks to be pretty incredible, actually, on a regular basis. So this is why our internets are circling. This is why our stuff isn't working like it's supposed to. Now we get over here to the NOTAM, and been having a little bit of problems getting this one to run this morning. Keeps not wanting to show, so we'll give it a shot here while we try to load it one more time. It'll probably give me a error message. Yeah, there we go. We'll wait for it and see if it loads. In the meantime, let's do this. Let's pop up my radar, and we'll take a look at the boxes going on. Now, this is that storm system running across the middle of the U.S. right now. Of course, we're getting hammered here in Texas with rain. But it looks like this is a depression that's coming through. It was a hurricane headed across Mexico. And then notice here too, here in, where did it go? Oh, there they are. Right here. It looks like Bob Marley's headed out to New Mexico. These are going to be a VIP just south of Santa Fe, Albuquerque. That's going to be a VIP TFR there. Now, I will tell you too, I just saw, this is the first time I've seen it in a long time, this weekend when Trump was down here doing his rally, just to the left side of Corpus Christi, we actually had a little small TFR over his area, which was nice to see because we haven't seen one for him in a very long time. And of course, this is going to be, let's see what this is, Space Ops going on. That's Senior Living Center on Golden Pond up here. It's going to be there for a while. Doesn't go away. This is security off of Jacksonville Naval Air Station. And then this is air show stuff down near Orlando. It looks like we got some storms that are brewing. This looks to be the big threat. Has a 50% chance of forming into something major over the next 5 days. And there's that. All right, let me back up and see. Oh, snap. Okay. That typically gives me a loadout. All right, so here we go. You can see this is going to be the U.S. side. We've still got these boxes off of the West Coast, these danger boxes. And then we get over here to Europe. Again, very busy as we look in kind of to the left of Greece, all around Greece, really. Mill exercises, mill operations, and of course, Ukraine completely covered up as always. Little border stuff here. And looks like north of the United Kingdom is also still going on. Let me see if we got boxes up here. Just bear with me. I know you can't see the land because the map's not loading properly. But this is Russia. This is all Russia. It looks like they're getting ready to do a missile test. More than likely, that's coming either from a boat or a sub out over the water. Same thing with this. And then right along this shoreline. But this is all the Ruskies right here. Okay. Okay. On to the topics that we're going to talk about as we get into these areas. So it looks like rockets have targeted U.S. coalition forces in eastern Syria. Yeah, we're seeing that, like I said, just based on the air traffic just off the south of Cyprus, just off the coast of Israel, and the stuff going in and out of Jordan. It looks like Syria is starting to ramp up. Now, remember, you've got Russia, Turkey, and Iran all in there working. And of course, Israel just keeps poking them in the eye every time they do something stupid. But we'll continue to watch that. But it looks like the U.S. is starting to get engaged into Syria as if we don't already have enough on our plate. Okay. We get over here to this side. And then, of course, Iran is now conducting a massive military drill on the Azerbaijan border, which, remember, I just showed you some of the C-17s headed into Georgia. That's right there in that same area. And so you may remember also we had a conflict going on between them and one of the other countries right beside them. Let me back up to our map here. We'll see if we can't get down to that general area. Armenia and Azerbaijan were actually going after it here. This is the area. And so it looks like this border area is where the Iranians are doing their work. So again, just a data point for us, but definitely not good. Now we get over to the naval traffic from a NATO perspective. Let's see what we got on here. It's again quite busy out here in the open water of the North Sea, but and a little bit of activity here. There's a Polish warship for you right there. That's where the pipeline was hit. You got a German warship, Polish warship. That looks to be a Lithuanian warship. We got a lot of warships out. So we'll continue to watch that. And if anything changes, pretty quiet everywhere else. But this looks to be the area of concentration from a NATO perspective. All right. Now, you remember the other day I said it always happens in threes. We had an F-35 go down. We had a Tu-34 that went into an apartment complex. And it looks like we've got another one here that, let me hit off the music, or sorry, the sound. But that is another Russian jet that ottered into this neighborhood that just happened a couple days ago. And yeah, not good. So there's your third. Like I said, it's a trifecta. Always happens that way. As long as I've been watching air traffic stuff, it has just been that way, including commercial. Whether it's military, whether it's commercial, always happens in threes. I don't know why that is. All right, here we go. Pay attention. We got massive protests in Paris. Again, inflation and climate crisis. Saying 140,000 people actually attended this march. We're seeing that all over the world, but I'm just peppering you with data points because it is going to become very relevant here in the not too distant future. All right, on to Biggs Army Airfield. Again, we were just looking at the data from aircraft coming in and out, the commercial charters, where they were going. Now, this is today. Just so you can see, we are back into the trend of the heavies, picking people up, taking them out. Notice this Atlas Air is coming inbound, going up to Minneapolis. Omni to Perot Field. Or sorry, this is coming in. Sorry for many. This one's from Perot Field. That's Alliance. Anchorage and Shannon. Those are inbound. Outbound, that looks like the Atlas Airs are all headed to Houston Bush. Remember, I marked that red on my map because we seem to have a lot of stuff getting processed through Houston. All right, and then here's another Camber flight, 777-200. If we look at the board over the weekend, starting Saturday, just notice we had more heavies inbound. Okay, so 6 of them between today and Saturday. And then on the departure side, same thing. Now, this is what you normally would see, although it is an uptick, but that's what we're looking for, not the smaller footprint like this one. That's a little Airbus. That's like a 737, A300, or 330, sorry, 200, and headed up there to Fort Drum. That's 10th Mountain Division from Biggs Army Airfield. But then just notice, again, here goes the heavy trend, 6 of them since Friday. 6 of them out. Okay, that's troop movement more than likely, or artillery, right? So moving some explosives. Okay, now this is going to be where am I looking at here? This is Wheeler Sac. Okay, Sun Country inbound from Minneapolis. Again, like I said, we've got a lot of traffic going between Sac Wheeler to Minneapolis. Both of them inbound right here. Smaller birds, 737-800s. Then from there, notice where it goes. Look, that's headed to a 72-hour holding facility, Alexandria. So it looks like the stuff going in and out of Fort Drum could be the Afghanis that have come in that haven't met the muster, that are basically not checking out on the background stuff, and they're sending them down here to Alexandria for out processing, where they will get sent out of the country. So, but that is a 72-hour holding facility in Alexandria for immigration. Right, as people being processed out. It's a jail, in essence. Okay. All right, over here to Ramstein. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Not Ramstein, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is Poland. Now, pay close attention to this. This is where we have got a metric ton of assets in play, forward operating base, ready to go into Ukraine, all staged out of here. This is probably going to be the first target that that goes in from Russia if they were going to hit the U.S. Because of the assets that are in here. Notice you've got camber flights, German Air Force. That's Ryanair. That doesn't count. We get on down. Who's this one? Ukraine Air Enterprise. Oh, that's interesting. Camber. That's another military coming from Dover. And then let's just go. Let's open it up to arrivals. Let's go from Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, this board is massively it's overloaded. Columbus, Ohio, from Reichenbacker. Yeah, check out Camber flight. Camber. Look at the amount of troops coming in there. Camber. And another Camber. So what do we got? 7, 8 Camber flights coming inbound. And that is just since Saturday. All right. So just it's a data point for you, but that looks to be where everybody's headed as they roll out of here. Let me see. Atlas Air doesn't say, it's not a camber flight, so it's not moving troops, it's moving equipment. So yeah, it looks like this location is kind of the forward operating base, and that kind of reads into our next headline. Ukraine has received over 1 million artillery rounds from the United States. Yeah, that means we do not have a million. We are shy 1 million. And that includes up to 903,000, 155 Mike howitzer rounds, and 3,000 M982 Excalibur guided rounds, 7,000 Rams projectiles. Yes, it's just a crazy number. You think about it. Yeah, and that's all stuff that we will probably need if we get into a war that we don't have now. Okay. All right. And then here comes old DP. U.S. may lead multinational force against Russia and Ukraine. Yeah, it looks like we are very close to going in. And the reason for that, let's get in and look at Ukraine. I want to show you why we are very, very close to going in. It's because our deep state is taking it in the shorts. All of those blue dots you see right over my head, those are airborne alerts, basically artillery or something, airstrike coming inbound to those areas from the Ruskies. All right, they're starting to pop things off into our different areas where we have bioweapon labs, all kinds of things. Over the weekend, I noticed that there were a ton of utility strikes, basically taking out the power, the little bolt that you see there, like a lightning bolt up just to the north there, to the right of Kiev. They're starting to take out their power. That's kind of a strategic move, right? That's what you want to do. You're going to come in, take out comms, take out power, so people can't communicate as you make your moves. And it looks like they are peppering coast to coast here in Ukraine right now. And so that's why we're about to get engaged, because the deep state is on its heels. They have no other choice. Now, I don't think it'll go hot between now and the election, the midterms, if those happen. But it will happen shortly thereafter. I'm willing to bet. We're getting very close just based on the data. Okay. All right. Now, let's get back over here to our headlines. We got DP talking. Here's another one here. It says, this is from the Washington Examiner. U.S. military forces fully prepared to cross into Ukraine. Yeah, and we know where they're coming out of. Unfortunately, it's 101st Airborne, Screaming Eagles. And these boys about to go hot. And as much as I'm against this whole thing kicking off, we need to keep our troops in our prayers, because this is going to get ugly pretty quickly. Now, believe me, the United States military, there's none other like it. These guys are the best of the best. And you take 101st Airborne, and those guys are going to go in there and kick some teeth in very quickly. However, it's just again, it's war, right? And it seemed like the whole world's going hot. We've got so many different moving pieces happening everywhere from the continent of Africa to Asia to Europe, that this is when it goes hot, it's going to go probably global. World War III, literally. So, all right, here we go. Now, this is coming back the other direction. Russia is now warning of a dirty bomb, false flag plot, and a flurry of rare calls to Western leaders. Yeah, now you heard Flashbang saying, don't do it, talking to the Russians. Well, now we've got the Russians coming back to us going, Don't do it. We know you're about to do it. We've got intel on the ground, and that is probably how they'll kick this thing off. That'll ignite us into the region, because for humanity, we'll have to get in, even though we know it's deep state is basically on their heels, right? All right, so let's see. EU to give Ukraine. This is your Bohica moment. 1.5 billion euros per month starting next year. They're just laundering money, folks. That's all this is. Now, remember, they're talking to a lot about the Ukrainians reapplying for NATO. If the Ukrainians join NATO, we are in a war, because there is the I forget the policy, but it is basically if you come after us, you come after all of us. And if they're engaged in this, we allow them into NATO, then that means NATO and the U.S. is going into Ukraine. So we see it all in the headlines. We hear Petraeus talking about it. We see everything being pre-positioned, and I mean at record numbers, being forward allocated into that forward operating base in Poland, which would be an indicator that we are definitely about to jump into this both feet. All right, now let's talk Ramstein. That's where I got ahead of myself. Sorry about that. Earlier we were talking Poland, but here's Ramstein. You do have some camber flights coming in, but notice they're coming in from Doha to Middle East. And then we got Air Transport International 757 coming out of Portsmouth. That's another base. That's probably going to be moving assets, not troops, because if it was a troop mover, more than likely it'd have this camber call sign. And then exfilling out of there, it's a long haul camber flight. Don't know where it was headed. We'll look at the camber flights here in just a second. But that is going to be your Ramstein board. It's a little light compared to everything else, but it looks like, because everything's going into Poland. All right. Okay. Breaking across the drink. Let's talk. This is going to be Guam. Again, we've got notice assets coming in. Probably bringing in, that's a 747-400 from Atlas Air. That is probably bringing in some type of missile defense system or something into the region, or major armament, okay, of some sort. National Cargo, again, 47400. And this camber flight, that's troops, MD-11, which is, because it's MD-11, it's probably a FedEx bird. And that's getting pulled in. That's arriving into Guam. And then we only see this one headed back to Hawaii. So it looks like it dropped, that National Cargo dropped something off there, came in from Yokota into Guam. So then roll back out to Hawaii. And we've got this one down here. This is actually Western Global, headed to, let's see where this is headed. Seoul, Korea, MD-11. All right. Now, we were just looking at the assets moving around there. It says here, Japan undertakes the biggest military buildup since World War II, the landmark moment in Pacific history underway. Yeah, we're about to go hot over in Asia as well. Just like World War II, both fronts. You got Asia going hot. You've got Europe going hot all around the same time, okay, which is going to spread us very, very thin. Now, here's going to be your camber flights. Just notice these are more than likely troop movers. They're leaving. You got Travis Air Force Base, JFK, Biggs, Sophia, Ramstein, destination unknown. But these are all, again, a lot of stuff going on in the Middle East as well. When we talked about Asia and Europe, et cetera, Middle East, got to add that one in there too. This is going to be Omni. Nothing on the board for Omni right now. Probably a little early for them. And then we get over to National Cargo. You can see this one's coming in from Hawaii into Travis Air Force Base and moving equipment and assets. Then the Brits, they're fired up today. You got a lot of stuff on the board. A lot of stuff coming in the U.S. Don't know if that's good or bad. They could be just picking stuff up and bringing it back across the drink, helping us out. Don't know. But notice a lot of stuff headed down here into Cyprus. That seems to be a major staging area right now in and out of Cyprus, especially for the Brits. Okay, got one Ruski flight here. I did want to see where this one was headed because it was a little closer. It's a heavy, that we do know, but it looks to be headed down, maybe Yuma. Hard to tell. Right, there's a hazard there right below it, but he's still at 36,000 feet and 502 miles an hour. So doesn't look like he's descending yet, but he could be headed down here into Yuma. All right, again, Royal Air Force into the U.S. And Navy logistics, a lot of stuff moving. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit. Yeah, European on the front, and then, of course, down here in near Doha, et cetera, Middle East, and over on the Pacific side. And then the Ruskies, last up, 3 flights up from the Ruski perspective. None of them appear to be Putin, but it looks like most of them are coming out of, Kosovo. 2 of them out of Kosovo. And then this one coming out of Moscow at destination. All right. Well, listen, that is going to wrap us up for today. Don't forget, I do have a chat with you guys over in the member section directly after this. I will not have a chat on Wednesday because I am exfilling the U.S. And we'll be headed over to Israel. So that's going to be it. You guys keep that powder dry and stay frosty. God knows what's coming. God bless. Yeah. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworksus.com.